Sports are a crucial part of culture, providing entertainment, inspiration, and a source of admiration for exceptional athletes. Of the many incredible performances in sports history, some have proven to be truly unforgettable. From individual athletes dominating entire teams to record-breaking achievements, these 10 performances stand out as the greatest ever witnessed. Each of these remarkable feats is remembered not only for its greatness but also for the lasting impact it has had on the world of sports. 10. Michael Phelps' 8 gold medals at the 2008 Beijing Olympics. Michael Phelps' 8 gold medals at the 2008 Beijing Olympics is considered one of the most difficult and impressive performances in Olympic history. Phelps competed in 8 events and won all 8, setting a new record for the most gold medals won by an individual at a single Olympics. Phelps also set new world records in the 400-meter individual medley and the 4x100-meter medley relay, and he broke his own world record in the 200-meter butterfly. Phelps' performance at the 2008 Olympics was incredibly difficult, as it required a combination of endurance, strength, and mental toughness. Phelps trained for years to prepare for the Olympics, and his training regimen included a grueling schedule of practices and competitions. Phelps also had to manage the pressure of competing at the Olympics, and maintain his focus and motivation throughout the entire tournament. Phelps' record of 8 gold medals at a single Olympics stood for 12 years, until it was broken by Simone Biles in 2020, who won 4 gold medals at the 2020 Olympics. Phelps' record, however, is still considered one of the greatest achievements in Olympic history, and his performance at the 2008 Beijing Olympics will always be remembered as one of the greatest individual achievements in sports history. 9. Usain Bolt's world record in the 100m at the 2008 Beijing Olympics. Usain Bolt's world record in the 100m at the 2008 Beijing Olympics was one of the best individual performances in sports history because it was an historic achievement. He became the first man to run the 100m in under 9.69 seconds, breaking his own world record of 9.72 seconds set the previous year. He also became the first person to win the 100-meter and 200m at the same Olympics in world record time. Usain Bolt is considered one of the greatest sprinters of all time. He dominated the sprinting scene in the late 2000s and early 2010s, setting multiple world records in the 100m and 200m events. He is known for his incredible speed, power, and his unusual pre-race showmanship. Running a 100m race at the elite level is considered a difficult task. It requires a combination of speed, strength, power, and technique. The 100m is also considered one of the most prestigious events in track and field, and the record for the fastest time is highly coveted. Bolt broke the previous world record of 9.72 seconds, set by himself in 2007, and held that record till 2017. He also set a new Olympic record of 9.69 seconds. 8. Serena Williams' Serena Slam in 2002 to 2003. Serena Williams' Serena Slam in 2002 to 2003 was one of the best individual performances in sports history because it was a historic achievement in women's tennis. Serena won 4 consecutive Grand Slam titles, starting with the 2002 French Open and ending with the 2003 Australian Open, becoming the first African-American woman to win 4 consecutive Grand Slam titles since Althea Gibson in the 1950s. Serena Williams is considered one of the greatest female tennis players of all time. She has won multiple Grand Slam titles, Olympic gold medals, and has been ranked as world number 1 several times. She is known for her powerful serve, aggressive ground strokes, and her competitive spirit. Winning 4 consecutive Grand Slams in professional tennis is considered an extremely difficult accomplishment. The Grand Slams tournaments are considered the most prestigious events in the sport and feature some of the strongest players in the world. Serena Williams broke the previous record of Steffi Graf, who won 3 consecutive Grand Slams in 1988. She also became the first woman since Monica Seles in 1991-93 to win 4 consecutive Grand Slam titles in the Open era. 7. Wayne Gretzky's 215-point season in 1985-1986. Wayne Gretzky's 215-point season in 1985-1986 was one of the best individual performances in sports history because it was an unprecedented feat in NHL history. Gretzky broke his own previous record of 212 points in a season, set in the 1981-1982 season, by scoring 52 goals and 163 assists in just 80 games. Wayne Gretzky, also known as the Great One, is considered one of the greatest hockey players of all time. He dominated the NHL in the 1980s and set multiple records during his career. He was known for his incredible offensive skills, vision, and playmaking abilities. He was also known for his longevity. Gretzky maintained his level of play throughout his career, winning his final MVP award at the age of 36. Scoring 215 points in an NHL season is considered an extremely difficult accomplishment. It requires a combination of skill, speed, endurance, and consistency. The NHL is a physically demanding league and players need to be able to perform at a high level for the entire season. Gretzky broke his own record of 212 points in a season which he set in the 1981-1982 season and still holds the record for most points in a single season till today. 6. Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game in 1962. Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game in 1962 is considered one of the greatest individual performances in sports history because it is the only time a player has scored 100 points in a single game in the history of the National Basketball Association, NBA. It was a significant milestone in basketball history and is still considered one of the most impressive individual performances in the sport. Wilt Chamberlain, also known as Wilt the Stilt or the Big Dipper, was one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He was an incredibly dominant player, known for his size, strength, and scoring ability. He was one of the first players to score over 30,000 points in his career and held many records, including most points in a game, most rebounds in a game, and most consecutive games scoring 50 or more points. Scoring 100 points in a game is extremely difficult because it requires a player to have an extraordinary scoring ability and to maintain that level of scoring throughout the game. Additionally, it requires a player to have a good understanding of the game, good ball handling skills, and good stamina. Furthermore, the game environment, team strategy, and the opposing team's defense can play a role to make it more difficult. On March 2, 1962, Wilt Chamberlain set the record for the most points scored in a single game by scoring 100 points. This record still stands today as the most points scored by a player in a game in the history of the National Basketball Association, NBA. This was his own record that he broke. 5. Babe Ruth's 60 home runs in 1927. Babe Ruth's 60 home runs in 1927 was one of the greatest individual performances in sports history because it was a significant milestone in baseball history. At the time, no player had ever hit more than 59 home runs in a single season. Ruth's accomplishment broke the previous record, set by Roger Maris in 1961, and stood as the record for 34 years until it was broken by Roger Maris in 1961. Babe Ruth, also known as the Sultan of Swat or the Bambino, was one of the greatest baseball players of all time. He is considered one of the greatest hitters in the history of the sport and was a dominant player during the 1920s and early 1930s. He was also known for his prodigious home run hitting, and his record of 60 home runs in a single season stood for 34 years. Hitting 60 home runs in a season is difficult because it requires a combination of skill, power, and endurance. A player must have the ability to hit the ball with great power, the ability to maintain that power throughout the long baseball season, and the ability to stay healthy. Additionally, hitting 60 home runs in a season also requires a player to have a good eye and good timing. In 1927, Babe Ruth broke his own record of 59 home runs in a single season which he set in 1921. He set a new record of 60 home runs in a single season which stood for 34 years until Roger Maris broke it in 1961. 4. Tiger Woods' 15-stroke victory at the 2000 U.S. Open. Tiger Woods' 15-stroke victory at the 2000 U.S. Open was one of the best individual performances in sports history because it was a historic achievement in professional golf. Woods broke multiple records during the tournament, including the record for the largest margin of victory in a major championship, which was previously held by Old Tom Morris in the 1862 Open Championship. He also set the record for the lowest score in relation to par in a major championship with a score of 12 under par. Tiger Woods is considered one of the greatest golfers of all time. He dominated the sport in the late 1990s and early 2000s and set multiple records during his career. He was known for his incredible ball striking, accuracy and mental toughness. He was also known for his longevity. Woods has consistently been one of the best golfers in the world for more than 20 years. Winning a golf tournament by 15 strokes is considered an extremely difficult accomplishment, even for the best players in the world. Golf is a sport that requires a combination of skill, patience, and consistency. The US Open is considered one of the most prestigious tournaments in the sport and features some of the strongest players in the world. Tiger Woods broke the record for the largest margin of victory in a major championship, which was held by Old Tom Morris in the 1862 Open Championship. He also set the record for the lowest score in relation to par in a major championship with a score of 12 under par. 3. Michael Jordan's flu game in 1997 NBA Finals. Michael Jordan's flu game in the 1997 NBA Finals was one of the best individual performances in sports history because it was a remarkable display of physical and mental toughness by an already iconic athlete. Despite visibly struggling with a fever and flu-like symptoms, Jordan scored 38 points, including the game-winning three-pointer, to lead the Chicago Bulls to victory in Game 5 of the series. Michael Jordan is considered one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He dominated the NBA in the 1990s, winning 6 championships and multiple MVP awards. He was known for his incredible scoring abilities, defensive skills, and his ability to take over a game in the clutch. He was also known for his incredible work ethic and his ability to push through adversity, which was on full display in the flu game. Playing a high-level game of basketball while dealing with a fever and flu-like symptoms is considered a difficult task, even for the best players in the world. The NBA Finals is considered the pinnacle of the league, and the competition is fierce. Although Michael Jordan did not break any record in this game, he set an example of mental and physical toughness that will be remembered forever in the history of the game. Roger Bannister's first sub-4-minute mile in 1954. Roger Bannister's first sub-4-minute mile in 1954 is considered one of the greatest individual performances in sports history because it was the first time a person had ever run a mile in under 4 minutes. At the time, many experts believed that it was physically impossible for a human to run a mile in less than 4 minutes, and breaking the barrier was a significant milestone in the sport of track and field. Roger Bannister was a British middle-distance runner who competed in the 1952 Olympics in Helsinki. He was a talented runner, known for his endurance and determination. He had been working towards breaking the 4-minute mile barrier for several years before finally achieving it on May 6, 1954. Running a mile in under 4 minutes is a difficult feat because it requires a combination of speed, endurance, and mental toughness. A runner must be able to maintain a fast pace for the entire distance of the race, while also having the endurance to keep going even when the body is fatigued. Additionally, the psychological pressure of trying to break such a significant barrier can make it more difficult. On May 6, 1954, Roger Bannister ran a mile in 3 minutes 59.4 seconds, becoming the first person to run a mile in under 4 minutes. He broke the existing world record of 4 minutes 1.3 seconds, which was held by Gunder Hag of Sweden. This record was broken by John Landy of Australia within 46 days, but Bannister's achievement was considered a significant milestone in the sport of track and field and is still remembered as one of the great moments in sports history. 1. Muhammad Ali's Rumble in the Jungle in 1974. Muhammad Ali's Rumble in the Jungle fight against George Foreman in 1974 was one of the best individual performances in sports history because it was a remarkable display of skill, strategy, and mental toughness by one of the most iconic athletes of the 20th century. Ali, who was considered an underdog, employed a new strategy, known as the rope-a-dope, in which he leaned against the ropes and absorbed Foreman's punches, wearing him out and ultimately knocking him out in the 8th round to regain the heavyweight championship of the world. Muhammad Ali, also known as the Greatest, is considered one of the greatest boxers of all time. He was a 3-time heavyweight champion and was known for his quickness, footwork, and his ability to predict the outcome of the fight. He was also known for his charisma, his political activism, and his impact outside the ring. Boxing is a physically demanding sport that requires a combination of skill, strength, and endurance. Fighting a heavyweight champion in the prime of their career is considered a difficult task, even for the best boxers in the world. The Rumble in the Jungle was not only a fight for the heavyweight championship of the world, but it also had political and social significance. Muhammad Ali broke no record in this fight, but he set an example of courage, determination, and skill that will be remembered forever in the history of the sport. The countless individual performances in sports history have truly been inspiring. From Michael Jordan's unforgettable performance in Game 5 of the 1997 NBA Finals to Usain Bolt's stunning record-breaking 100-meter dash, these athletes pushed themselves beyond their physical and mental limits to deliver remarkable performances that will be remembered for years to come. Whether it's through sheer talent or extraordinary commitment, these athletes set a high standard for what can be accomplished when you strive to reach your potential.